such surface level demeaning of other human beings, right? And that's totally accepted. And we say it's okay, and because we're like, yeah, we're in agriculture, what do you expect? I expect a hell of a lot more from those of us in agriculture, right?
My name is Jenna.
Emily.
Michael.
Izzy.
Mary Kay.
Mikey.
I am queer.
I'm an ally. Queer.
Gay.
Queer.
A lesbian.
And I'm
And
in
I'm
agriculture.
You hate to talk about agriculture as old-fashioned, right? We want to break that stereotype all the time. But I think in some social ways, agriculture is old-fashioned.
You have to really make a concerted effort to prove that you deserve to be in certain places.
Growing up in agriculture and knowing that I was queer since the beginning of high school was really challenging, just to hear like some of the things that, you know, people have to say about the queer community, and just not being able to like advocate as much as I'd like without fear of being ostracized in a way.
The closest that I've come in an agricultural setting to feeling like, wow, I really don't belong here, or this really is not for me, is I went to a club meeting and we like literally were treated like pariahs. Like no one talked to us. We sat at a table by ourselves.
There just always seems to be that gap of the queer community, LGBTQ plus community, and agriculture. And like there are so many gay farmers, if you will, that are involved in agriculture, right? Like that's a thing. They exist. But it seems to me that there are people that won't allow them to exist, or truly don't think that that's a thing. That somehow because LGBTQ plus people maybe lean a little more like left politically, that they don't value agriculture. And that's not true.
We need the talents and the gifts of all people, any industry we're in. But I think agriculture, it just pushes people out to the edges. And so think how much talent we're missing in agriculture from not having bright minds, talented people working in the industry.
This past fall, when I attended the National FFA convention, I was working backstage, but I was also receiving my American degree, which is the highest degree you can earn in the National FFA organization. Thankfully, my mentor was there, and so after I received my American degree, I went back and took some pictures with my mentor, Audrey, and we just kind of hung out for half an hour to an hour afterwards, and I was really just kind of like trying to dig up the courage to tell her, to come out to her basically. And eventually, as I was kind of like saying goodbye and like leading her out of the building, you know, just kind of like waving her off, I was like, actually, I really need to tell you something. And so basically I came out to Audrey right then and there, and just the most wonderful experience of someone just like tears of joy, crying, like happiness, like for me as an individual in my blue corduroy jacket, a huge symbol of agriculture for youth in the United States.
When Adam came in and like passed around pronoun things and pronoun flyers, which is something that like is just so natural to me, but seeing it so like received so badly was like a shock to me. Like the girl sitting next to me, she was like, oh, I can't believe we have to listen to this. And I was just like, are you serious right now? Like what? I basically went to the advisor and I was like, I am probably going to leave if things don't change because I don't want to be involved in an environment that's like this. He emailed me the next day and was like, what do you want to do about this? Like, how do you want to do anything about this? And I was like, oh, honestly, I don't know what I want to do. So I went home and I Googled like LGBTQ plus in agriculture, like, and I found Cultivating Change.
I heard about Cultivating Change originally from a past state officer in Oregon who's now the president of Cultivating Change. I was like, there is no way something like this exists. And it does. It's called Cultivating Change. And it's a foundation at the national level. When I did some digging on the website and saw that there were other collegiate chapters, that this wouldn't be like this brand new feat that we would have to accomplish at K-State. And so that kind of seed was like planted in my head. And then I attended the World Food Prize this past fall, and we were at this like luncheon. We were sitting next to a man that worked for I think it's like the Iowa soybean I want to say council, but like association, that kind of thing. And we got to talking, and basically he like kind of came out to us and said, you know, like my husband and I, we have this baby and all these things. And I was like, oh my gosh, like how are you involved like civically, you know, within your community, like that kind of thing. And he was telling me that he was involved with cultivating change. And so I kind of like took that as a sign as I had put like cultivating change on the back burner for like a month, and it's like, okay, I think it's time, you know, to start something here at K-State.
When Jenna and Izzy came and said they wanted to start a club to work on these issues, I really admired them because they're exercising their courage muscle, right? They're standing up and saying, this is something we need. The industry needs it, agriculture needs it, Kansas State needs it, and we have so many students that identify as LGBT that are being ostracized and pushed to the edges of the table.
I think it'll be really cool to see them build a community, but I think more importantly, to provide a different example of what it means to be on like a member of the LGBT community within agriculture.
I hope that like incoming students are able to see that the culture of the College of Agriculture at K-State is changing.
I know that I will run up against things in my career that will be hard, but it's like I have to believe that it's possible to be authentically who I am and still earn respect and still do my job and still be in agriculture. And so I want other people to believe the same thing too.